Welcome in, everybody. It's Zach here. It's week 14. We obviously have a lot of big things to go over this week just because it's a must win week for a lot of us, and there's a lot of sort of surprising injury updates. We'll go through any of the actives and inactives here. I'll just sort of go over any of the surprise injury updates to make sure you guys have all of that information going ahead of your matchups here, and then I will, of course, answer any specific start-sit questions you guys have in the comments below. So I'll just read through all this, read through this actives and inactives, and then if you guys have questions, just let me know in the comments, and I'll be sure to get back to you. If you happen to not get a comment in before this live stream is over, just leave a comment on the video here. I'll make sure I get back to you before 10, and let's get you guys some wins this week. Starting things off with guys that are active, we've got Jakobi Meyers. Makes him like a low-end flex play for me, and obviously not something that I'm super excited about. He's not a reliable weekly starter by any means, but he has been pretty good lately since the Davante Adams trade. He and Brock Bowers effectively dominate that target share. Good matchup this week against Tampa Bay, so I think you can play him as like a wide receiver 3 flex play, but he's not a must start by any means. DJ Moore and DeAndre Swift are both likely to be active for the Bears. I think you can play both of them. DJ Moore, obviously, I think he's in your lineup as a solid wide receiver 3. He's been too involved lately. Swift, a little bit scarier, but with no Roschon, they're not going to lean on Travis Homer. So, you can play Swift. It's just not a great matchup there against the Niners. So, I don't love it, but if you need to, he's like a low-end RB2. 6 teams on bye, so obviously you just sort of have to make do with what you got sometimes. Bucky Irving should be active today. I think he's obviously in your lineup. There's no way you're benching him the way he's been playing. I'm still feeling pretty good about playing Rachaad White as a low-end running back play. I think if I had to pick between him and DeAndre Swift, I would go Rachaad White, if that helps give you guys any sort of context there. But, Bucky's a must start. I think there should be plenty to go around for this right Buccaneers offense against the bad Raiders defense. You can probably play both those running backs. Malik Neighbors, he should be active today. It's scary because obviously it's not a fantastic matchup against the Saints, and there's just nothing that can really work in this offense with Drew Lock or Tommy DeVito throwing the ball. So it's tough, but Malik Neighbors is getting hyper-targeted. He's basically like a poor man's CeeDee Lamb right now. We've got bad quarterback play, but he's just so far and away the best player in the offense that they are still hyper-targeting him. I doubt he'll score a touchdown for you, but it does still feel like he's somebody that you can play much better in full PPR. He's just not someone that I'm super excited about. I view him as like a low-end wide receiver 3. You don't have to start Malik Neighbors, but again, you probably are. Kendre Miller, also going to be active this week. He just slots in as the number 2 running back in New Orleans. Should be fully healthy right now, so I still think he's a guy that we should be rostering. It's like, at the time of the year where we're rostering the Zach Charbonnets, the Braylon Allens, all those handcuff running backs that we're seeing be super relevant right now with all these running backs going down. Kendre Miller is another one of those. If something were to happen to Kamara, Kendre Miller would fall right into that number 1 role in this offense. So he should be rostered, but I'm not going to play him this week by any means. Next up, we got some inactives here, lots to go over. So we got Breece Hall. Got news yesterday for sure that he was going to be out. Makes Braylon Allen a really solid start. So hopefully you guys have been holding on to him. If you have Breece Hall, hopefully you're not stuck without a running back play there. But I think Braylon Allen's a really solid play. He's a really good player. Which is like something that I think actually matters a lot when you're playing as a handcuff running back, because a lot of these handcuffs come in and they're just not actually talented, and there's a reason they're a backup. But Braylon Allen's actually a really talented player. I think he's in line for a good game this week. Should get all the work, really. I know Isaiah Davis will get a little bit of the work, but I feel really good about Breece Hall this week. He's a guy that I'm making an effort to get in my lineups. If you want context, I've got a league. It's a must-win game for me. I'm playing Braylon Allen over DK Metcalf. So hopefully that gives you guys some context there. Raheem Mostert should be inactive this week. Doesn't mean a whole lot for me. It just means that obviously Devon Achane's a must start. He's been a must start every single week. Jalen Wright is like a desperation play if you really need to, but he's probably going to get 5 to 10 touches. I don't want to go there. It does feel more and more like Jalen Wright's the true handcuff if you want to roster one, but even still, it's probably none of them. I don't think any of those guys will be what Achane has been if Achane were to go down. Alexander Mattison should be inactive this week, along with Samir White, so you're going to get Chance McCormick and Amir Abdullah getting another stab at it. You can desperation dart throw Chance McCormick if you need to, but I really don't like it. It's just a tough matchup against a good Buccaneers run defense. Not as good as they've been in the past, but they're still one of the best run defenses in the NFL with Vita Vea in the middle. Chance McCormick is not going to be the guy that catches passes. You're still going to have Amir Abdullah doing that, so you kind of need McCormick to score a touchdown to make you happy this week, and I don't want to bet on that at all. So I prefer to play none of them, but if you need to, you could obviously go with either McCormick or Abdullah. It feels really bad there. Big surprise of the day, George Pickens. He is inactive today. Huge blow to the Steelers' offense. Honestly, maybe gives the Browns a chance in that game today. But I think it makes Calvin Austin like an interesting deep league flex play if you need to. He's been coming on as the clear number 2 in the offense. He's a good player. Russ has been playing really well, and the Browns' defense does not scare me. So you can play Calvin Austin if you need to. Pat Freiermuth, I think he's a guy that you can play as well. A really solid tight end streaming option for sure. Dallas Goedert, he's going to be inactive this week. It sounds like they placed him on IR actually, so you're looking at Devonta Smith and AJ Brown really holding down the fort the rest of the way. I think they're both decent starts, although I'm a little bit less optimistic about what Devonta Smith can offer. He just hasn't really been that good this year. Like, I know Devonta Smith is a great player, but from a fantasy standpoint, it's just tough because they're not throwing the ball a ton with how dominant Saquon's been. So you need a big play for Smith, and I don't really want to bet on that, especially in a game where they should be up early. So it's okay to bench Devonta Smith. It's just, there's 6 teams on bye. Tough to really put him on your bench in a lot of situations. Roschon Johnson, I mentioned it earlier, he'll be inactive. It's going to be DeAndre Swift and then Travis Homer getting the majority of the work there. I think DeAndre Swift, because he should have all the work, assuming assuming he's active. I think you can play DeAndre Swift, but it's just not super exciting there. Another big one, Kenneth Walker, he's inactive, so it's going to make Zach Charbonnet almost a must start. Like, he's going to get 20, 25 touches in this game probably. Arizona's a mediocre defense. It's a decent matchup there. Charbonnet's not a special player by any means. Like, I think Braylon Allen's a much better player, and I would play Braylon Allen this week over Zach Charbonnet. But, he's going to get all the work there. He's probably got a good shot to score at some point this week, so I think Charbonnet is a really solid option if you need him. And then lastly, we've got Cedric Tillman. He'll be inactive. It just means that Jerry Jeudy and Elijah Moore are both really solid starts again this week, along with David Njoku. But still, Cedric Tillman does need to be rostered. I think there is some upside for him once he comes back. Otherwise, let's see, we've got some comments here. Paul, you think McCormick will get 15 touches? I kind of agree with you. He'll probably get 10 or 12 to 16 touches in my mind, but it's probably going to be for 3.5 yards per carry, so you're looking at like 50 yards and no catches. So, I mean, if you want 5 fantasy points, I guess that's okay. But yeah, it feels like, again, like you need that touchdown for him to pay off. Judge, Pollard or Zach Charbonnet? I would definitely go Pollard here. The matchup for Pollard is just phenomenal against the Jaguars. I know Tyjae Spears is back, but Pollard's been playing really well. It'd be really tough for me to bench Pollard. Like, I actually have a league where I've got Pollard and Charbonnet. I'm playing Pollard personally over Charbonnet and leaving Charbonnet on the bench there. So, um, I guess I disagree with Paul there. Paul, Parker Washington or Calvin Austin? I think I go Calvin Austin there. Calvin Austin should be basically the one in the offense. I know he was banged up this week, but it was a head injury. It's not like it's going to be a physical limitation there for him. So I think Calvin Austin's a really solid play this week as someone that I would expect to get, 4 for 60 with a decent shot at a deep ball or a touchdown to make you really happy. So, I would play Calvin Austin. I think it's a much better play there. He's been playing really well, and I do really believe in Russ and the Steelers offense, even without George Pickens right now. So otherwise, that'll be it for this video here. If you guys have any other questions, I'll hang around for another minute or two to answer questions, and then when I close the live stream, just make sure you guys leave a comment on the video if you have any additional questions. I'll make sure to get you guys an answer before the games kick off, so that way you guys are locked and loaded, ready to get you guys some wins this week and get you guys into those playoffs. So, good luck, everybody. Hopefully you guys get the wins you need this week, and let's go enjoy one last week of regular season fantasy football and get into the playoffs, guys. I'll talk to you guys all later. Peace.